and welcome to the weekly live Q&A. And today there is a real sunny vibe going on. And as per usual, I'm going to be answering questions that you've been sending in. And these questions are from our Premier Property Inner Circle. If you're wondering, what's going on here? Well, many of us know each other. We trust each other completely. And you might be new to this channel as well. Well, if you're watching this right now, my name is Kam Dovedi. I'm the founder of Premier Property. And every week what I do is answer questions that have been sent in from our Premier Property Inner Circle community, people that are really on it when it comes to investing and developing in property. And I do my best to answer these questions. And today we have 4 specific questions, very interesting actually, all to do with permitted development, also how you deal with contractors, and also specifics about projects as well. So I'm going to answer these questions right now. And if you're watching this and you're enjoying the sunny vibe and you're watching this on our YouTube channel, well then, you know what, feel free to join us and help the community, help grow the community. People are loving this and sending in so many comments saying how much you're enjoying this on a weekly basis. And thank you for the comments saying I'm a little bit different and very real. I take that as a compliment. So moving forward, let's discuss these. So the first question I've got here is from Clint Christian. So Clint is saying he's got a retail unit with 3 beds, a bedroom flat above. Can you convert the flat into 2 flats using PD, or would it require planning permission? Can he go into the loft? Can he create a 3rd flat? What kind of does it require planning permission? Is a key question that Clint is asking. Well, Clint, if you have a retail premises and you have 2 spaces above, which is storage, then you can make up to 2 flats within that. The case of you building 3 flats will require planning permission. You're quite right. But you know what? Just go for it. Go for it. Make it happen. Put the planning in. And remember, before you do that, what we always do at Premier Property is we have a pre-application. So you might find that you want to do a pre-application first. Just get from the planners what they require. And at a pre-application, usually the person that you're actually dealing with, in my experience anyway, is usually the person who's actually going to be making the final decision. So it's a kind of a common sense approach. So you sit with the planner, you ask them and show them what you want to be doing. And as they explain that, yeah, they're happy with this, they're happy with this, can you change that part? And you say, yeah, I can change it to this. You know, you're basically getting step by step by step everything you are agreeing to and confirming what they are requiring. And if you're getting a yes, 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 yes from the planner, well then your planning application, very unlikely, very likely in fact for it to be approved. So the pre-planning part is a key stage. I always take one of my architects with me, or as a minimum your planning consultant. So take whoever is helping you with this with you, sit in the planning meeting, listen in because it's your project and you can get the planning in this way. Permitted development is usually the first stop to see that can we get permitted development, and that's great if you can, but if you can't, then the planning is absolutely okay. Clint, you've asked this question a few times about this project, I believe. In fact, last week as well. So my suggestion now is let's just go in with it and let's get that pre-planning scenario working. Hope that makes sense. So that's a great question by Clint. Moving forward, we've got a question by our lovely Anna Zeta, part of the Premier Property Inner Circle. And she's got a couple of projects going on actually. So she says, hey Cam, the contractor is late with phase 1 of my project, already 3 weeks. They were very fast in the first 1 to 5 months, and then there was little progress. He refuses to give me a straight answer, says Anna. I'm presuming you mean the contractor. And refuses an answer about the reason for the delay. It keeps postponing it, deadlines for work, so lots of promises on delivery. There's more internal works. So Anna's charging him a penalty each week as well, each month even, each week actually. Charge him a weekly penalty, she says, under the contract, but it continues to happen. Got another meeting on Thursday. Any tips on how to tackle it? Anna, I'm loving the fact that you're building experience and you're dealing with contractors, and welcome to the real world, because at Premier Property we have typically anywhere between 7 to 12 projects on a monthly basis, and yes, we deal with contractors. Now, here's my experience on this. So I'm going to share a few things that you can be doing. First of all, as you are, be really human. What does that mean? Treat them like a person. Ask them, what is going on. The more humble you are, in my experience, the better you're going to get out your contractor. So what I don't do, and what my team doesn't do, is penalties and things like that. We don't really push them on these kind of things. The conversation, if someone is late, is, what's going on here? Can you just explain why it's taken longer than it should? The contractor will give you reasons, and sometimes the reason is that they have other jobs going on. Now, remember, contractors, they need to make sure that they've got a flow of work. So it's very unlikely that they're only doing one job at a time. They tend to stagger them, right? They're looking for new work, they've got one going on, and they've got another project as well. Yeah, so it's kind of like that in different phases. So what I've realized over my last 30 years is I've accepted the fact that they're not only going to be working on my project. Okay, so it's a little bit different now because we have so much work for our contractors, they don't need to go anywhere else, so they're just doing our projects. However, when it was a case where there wasn't so many projects and we had to do them one at a time, well then what I used to do is just have a conversation with them and say, what's actually happening? What is the delay? Is there anything that I can assist you with? How can we help you? What is going on? And are you doing any other jobs? That's fine if you are. I just need some help on this one. So if you have that human conversation, in my experience, you get the best out of contractors. And if we put ego to one side, which I do my best to every single day, then you are just human, aren't you? You're just asking for help. And in my experience, most people are reasonable. When you ask for help, you tend to get it. Now, that is the first approach that I would suggest. That's what we do. Find out, what is it? What is it because you've got another job? What's the thing? How long is it actually going to be taking? Yeah. So that's one thing to understand. Second thing to understand is that some contractors, they are good contractors, but they're not necessarily entrepreneurs and really good business people. Some are. Most of them are not. They're working hard, they're grafting, and sometimes what they'll do is they will give a timeline, which is going to be too tight anyway. So they'll give you a timeline, and what we do is we'll accept that timeline, but we know that they're not going to meet that deadline. So we have our own timeline at Premier Property. So you can have your timeline, Anna, of what the actual real timeline is. So, for example, when we're doing buy-to-lets, many times our contractors will say, yeah, we'll get this done within 4 weeks. I full well know on a full refurb, it's not going to take 4 weeks. It's going to be six weeks typically. It might even be 7 to 8 weeks, depending on any challenges that happen along the way. So you have already got the right timeline, but they are saying 4 weeks. So by you having a timeline that works for you, even though someone else is saying 4 weeks, it's going to be 6 weeks, which means that if they are slower from their timeline, actually your real timeline still works. Hope I'm making sense here. Yeah? So, hope I'm making sense here for you, because you're adding in your contingency and you're adding in your real numbers, your real timeline. So the contractor might be sweating and saying, I better hurry up and so on because it's gone over 4 weeks, but you already know it's 6 weeks. So what I would say to you, Anna, the point of this is, the first one I've already mentioned, is that have that human conversation, just find out what's going on. Yeah. Second is check your timeline. What should the timeline be? And you should know this because you've been with me for a little while. I've shared with you lots of timelines. Yeah, so have a little look at that, and if you want any help with that, just contact me and I'll help you with that as well, okay? We'll have a look at your specific timeline. So is it the real timeline? Yes, that's what you want to measure. Thirdly, accept the fact that in most cases, depending on the contractor type, I know the kind of project that you're doing is a residential project, these contractor types, like what I say, they tend not to be business people. So what might have happened, and this happens on the odd occasion, and you've got to be, again, working to your numbers, is that they might have underpriced themselves. So they might have, put in a figure where they know that they can't deliver that figure because literally they've run out of money because they change themselves by charging too much for that contract. Yeah. So I'm also aware of this when we're dealing with contractors. So if someone is too cheap, you want to make sure that they've done their calculations right. Sometimes I pay them more money because you want the project completed, don't you? Right? And they might have worked out the numbers in the wrong way. So you want to make sure the numbers are right. So I would suggest that you check in on your build costs or your refurbishment costs and the conversion costs. Are they actually what they should be? And have a conversation with the contractor, a straightforward conversation, eye to eye. Look them in the eye and say, what is going on? Are you within budget? Are you managing your payments? Are you okay? There's my answer for you there, Anna. Try some of this, test some of this out, and I'm pretty sure you're going to get some good results from that. You get some better communication. Hope that helps there. And if you're watching this on YouTube and you're finding this a little bit different and very real, well then feel free to subscribe to our channel. We'd love you to be part of our community. And the sunny vibe continues as we go on to the next question. So the next question I've got here is from Mike. And Mike is saying, is there a way to check online if there's a specific postcode and if it's subject to Article 4? Or do you have to contact the local council to inquire? Brilliant question, Mike, because many people look at a whole area and they say, is it Article 4? In my experience, a borough is usually never completely Article 4, and I'm guesstimating that you are discussing when you say Article 4 about HMOs, because Article 4 can be for other things as well, of course, right? So HMOs. So what we do is, first of all, we'll check the borough. You can get some lovely heat maps by councils that are available usually. So I would say, just go into the council sites, have a look at the area, and somewhere amongst their website, you should be able to find a heat map. A heat map that shows the parts that are Article 4 and the parts that are not Article 4. So you should be able to see that. It's never, like I say, a whole borough wide. There'll be certain streets that are and there'll be certain areas that are not. So that's one way of checking that. And secondly, absolutely correct. Just if you're serious about a project, then just check in with the council and just run that postcode by them. So you can contact the HMO officer. The HMO officer, they'll all have different names in different boroughs and councils. So have a conversation with the HMO officer, someone who deals with HMOs, and just run it past them. In my experience, they're usually very friendly people, and they actually like you. The fact that, first of all, you've done your due diligence online, so please make sure you let them know that you've done your due diligence online first before you've contacted them. And then when you contact them, they're usually very friendly and they're very amicable, in my experience, because they want to help you to get it right. So they will advise you further and let you know. So, Mike, great question there. Some nice, easy steps for you to make it work and gain that confidence that you can, you're in the right area for HMOs. Okay, so I'm going to jump into the next question. And the next question here is by Lee Taylor. So it's a fourth and final question for today. I'll be back here next week. And yes, right? There's the subscribe thingamajig on here, isn't it? You can subscribe. And also there's that bell icon, isn't it? It took me a little while to find that bell icon, actually, if I'm being completely honest with you. But I found it. So there's a bell icon there. And of course, you can just press that bell icon, which means that our latest videos, you'll get them first. I'm doing videos about projects, actually in projects, not standing outside them, but actually in them. Doing some of that. Sunny vibe going on, right? So we're doing a bit of that. And also, I'm doing this every single week. So if you've got any questions, feel free to ask, be part of our community. You are welcome at Premier Property. So Lee Taylor's question is, hi Cam, fantastic Zoom the other day on class and PD rights. I missed the bit about prior approval. Can you touch on this today, please? Surely. So, permitted development, just for clarity, as property investors and developers, 100% guaranteed planning permission. What that means is that you can just do stuff. The planners cannot stop you because they are within the rules of permitted development, which means that you can just do it. Now, when I say just do it, make sure you're aware of the use class of that property. Make sure you have the right PD right for that property. Make sure you adhere to the conditions of that PD right. Although they are very easy, if you miss something, and that's something that the planners are going to scrutinize. Because let's be honest, you're just doing stuff because you can just do stuff. If something is wrong there, they'll pick it up. So you got to get it right with with all the conditions in there. Now, one of the conditions can be for a number of properties, number of PD rights, because they do vary. I'm giving you the entrepreneur's perspective. They do vary when it comes to prior approval. So some of them will have a 56 days prior approval. Some of them will have a prior approval which you've actually got to gain before you have the 56 days. So let me explain this, by the way. What am I on about? So if you have a PD, permitted development right, that works for a particular type of property. So you're doing some form of conversion. Then such as, I want to name one, which is Class M, where you can literally proportion some of that and make it into a residential. Right now, there is 56 days prior approval, which means you submit some paperwork, you submit some drawings. However, there is no planning, but you still got to submit stuff. Yeah, and they have to come back to you within 56 days for anything adverse or any reasons why you can't do it, or they've got to come back to you. If they haven't come back to you within 56 days, you can just go ahead and do it. So that is the 56 days prior approval. So some people actually take it to the edge, where they'll just put the prior approval notice in and they'll actually start the works. What we do at Premier Property, we like the belts and braces approach. So we will put the 56 days prior approval saying this is what we're going to do to the property because it conforms to the permitted development right. So we can just do it because we looked at the rules and it works. We've got 2 projects on the go right now which we're doing using permitted development rights on this month. And you can then just put that notice in, like I say, and then you can, we wait 56 days and then thereafter just do it. Lee, hope this is helping you. So that's the 56 days example of prior approval. Now, there are certain PD rights where you will actually have to get the approval before you do any work. So you've got to wait for confirmation. And coming up in 2021, these rules are changing. It's a constant moving target, in fact. And right now, there are some very exciting PD rights, really, really exciting, that are coming in. Some are expiring, and there's some even more exciting ones that are coming in. So, 2021 really is a year of adding value using permitted development rights. And Lee, I'm going on a bit because you got me excited now, but I hope I've answered your question there for the bit that you was asking me. So it's all about the prior approval. That's what it means. Hope I've explained that right for you as a property investor, developer. Yes. So yes, 56 days for some of the PD rights. So you've got to check the PD right. This is public information. You can go online and you can check on the planning portal as well for whichever permitted development right you're doing. You can check what the prior approval notice is, or if there is a prior approval notice. So you can just check this. Okay, brilliant question, Lee. So lovely, short, sharp, sunny Q&A today. I'm in a funny mood, as you can tell. I'm looking forward to joining us next week. We're going to be here every week with God's grace, and I'll do my best to continue to help answer your questions so that you can move forward in your property journey. It's Kam Dovedi helping you to take your property investing to the next level. I'll see you here next week.